Hello friends, welcome back to the Visual Builder Cloud Service Training Program. So this video is part of lesson 4 and here we are going to cover a very important concept, the service connection. What service connection is? How to call external REST API if there are external REST APIs which you wanted to consume in your VBCS application to push and pull the data. How you can call such type of API in the VBCS. Then we will use a list view component to populate the data from external API, and then we will show users detailed information on a dialog box whenever we will select the particular user. Okay. Now, what service connection is? A service connection help you to call external REST APIs in our Visual Builder. So if you have a requirement to call external REST API, then you have to create a service connection with the external REST API. So a service connection is just like an adapter in an integration cloud, help you to consume external and internal integrations. So you can, using that service connection, you can call external REST APIs or as well as the internal integration which you have created in the integration cloud. A service connection describes the connection to a specific server, including the connection details. We have to provide the connection detail while creating the connection and the properties and the specific REST endpoint provided by the service that you want to use in your application. It is similar like that whenever we create a REST adapter, right? We provide some sort of details like the REST adapter endpoint URL and then username and the password. Same ways, here we have to provide the REST connection details in order to consume the external REST API with the help of service connection. So there are three ways to create a service connection. Okay, one is selecting a service in your integrated service catalog of pre-configured Oracle SaaS or PaaS REST services, which means if you have there in VBCS, there's a pre-configured Oracle SaaS which you can use to call your SaaS APIs as well as you can call the PaaS REST APIs which you have created. Then providing a document that describes the external services, you can provide a Swagger document, the Open API document, which will help you to call external services. The another way, providing the location of a REST services endpoint of the external service. So another way is that we can provide the REST endpoint in order to create the connection. So let's get started and see how to create a service connection. So let me just switch to the Visual Builder. So here I have switched to the Visual Applications page and then I will create a new application and here I will say call external application. And then just simply click finish. Once the application will be created, okay, here you see the service connection or here you see the service connection tab. So this service connection tab will allow you to create a service connection. Okay, just click on plus service connection. And here, as I mentioned, there are three ways to create service connection. One is using the catalog. Second is by defining the specification. And third is defining the endpoint. Here you see select from catalog. Here it will give you two options. One is using the Oracle Cloud application, that will be Fusion application. And another will allow you to call your integration. If you click on this, it will populate all the endpoints which you have created in your integration cloud. Go back, same with Oracle Cloud application. If you click on this, so this page is blank. It is because there is no connection as of now with the Fusion application. Go back. Now define by specification. Here you can say you can provide the API type, whether it's a Open Swagger or ADF describe. Then you have to provide a document web address or you can use the document. Then you have to select the authentication type. You have to select the connection type and you can give the service name. I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to use the third option, the define by endpoint. If I click on the define endpoint, it will allow you to call any HTTP service. whether it is a REST. Here there are multiple options. Like first, you have to choose which type of API you wanted to use, whether it's a get, put, post, delete, options, add, and then patch, and then trace. So there are different methods you can use. So I will use get, and here there is some publicly available API which I'm going to use it. So here you see users API. So I'm going to make a connection with my user API. So this will give this result. Now just copy that endpoint and then paste it in the URL. Okay. Now here you have to give the action hint, right? This endpoint will provide the get many results or a single result. If you wanted to use post, then use create. If you wanted to use a patch operation or put operation, you can use update, and or you can use delete or the custom. Since this endpoint will provide the multiple results, so I have to use get many and then click on the next button. So next button will allow you different options like service, servers, operation, request, response, and then test. Here you see this is my relative URI of my endpoint. Here this is the service name which you can change and it will be visible in your VBCS web application. I am saying user service. Very nice. Okay, so user service name. Okay, so you have to start with a small letter. Now you can give the title. I'm saying user service endpoint, and you can give the version and then optional description. The server, here the server tab will show you the instance URL, right? The instance URL which we have given here, and it will show the base URL of your endpoint. And description, you can provide description optionally. The basic, the application profile, we are not going to use it. So it is used whenever you wanted to use this for dev, production, and then UAT. So you can create different profiles and you can select it. Then security, here you can see allow anonymous action to the service infrastructure. Here, if this endpoint is secured, right, via any type of authentication, you have to select that authentication here, like propagate current user identity, Oracle Cloud account, OAuth, and different. If this API is authenticated using basic, then use basic, and from here you have to enter a username and the password and then save. Since this API is not using any authentication, so I will use none. Here you see you can add the custom header, you can put the secure headers, and here there's different connection type like dynamic, the source, the service support core, the dynamic, the service does not support cores. Now click on the operation. It will take the endpoint ID, automatically get users depending on the endpoint you give. In the request section, here you will see the body, the headers, and the parameter. If you wanted to add any parameter, you can add it over here. The response will show the response, and then you can test your API endpoint as well. So click on a send. If you click on a send, it will try to hit that API which you have given, right? If this is valid, it will provide the response. So it is really important to use this save as example response, because once you will click on this, the response will be copied under this response. So if it is not tested at that point of time, do one thing, just copy this and then take a copy from here and then use in the response. So it has been copied. Now just create. Now here you will notice that your user service has been created. Here you can see servers. Then if you click on a server, here you will see the list of servers, right? Now if you wanted to change this endpoint, you just click on the endpoints and you can change it. Click here and then you can change it what you want. Go back. Now what I wanted to add one more endpoint to the same service. Okay, click on the endpoint. So it should use the same connection URL. So here I will use the path slash user, and here I am saying I wanted to use one more which will accept the ID. So here if you click here, it will give the specific result. Then get user ID request, here you see the parameter is here ID, and then go, so you response, sorry, operation we have to, okay, and then test. In the URL parameter, just try to give some value and see. So it will fail. It is because we have to select. So you just select first get one first of all, response request here, then operation. Okay, let it be fail first of all. It is in the okay. So now it has been passed. 200. Now just use save as example response. So here you schema created for example. Now you are ready with two endpoints. Just add. Here you will notice two endpoint, one with slash users and another with slash users ID. Two endpoint get users and then get user ID has been added. So this is how you can create service connection. Let's go back and just try to create a web application. Here I am saying call external, okay, and then click on a create button. Now the main start page will be open by default. Now what I will use, I wanted to use the list view. Okay, so just drag and drop and then associate this list view component with your endpoint. Just select this and here use this users. Okay, and then next. It will allow you to select the template, which template you want to use on this list. I will use this one and then next. Here I will use address, company, email, ID, a name, phone, username, and then website. And then simply next and then finish. Now here you will notice couple of things, that the form will load all the user information from your external REST API. If you will try to run this, here you will see the list preview. Okay, that be open. Now here you see different information, and here you see address is object, geo is object, and then company is object. It is because here you see company is your complex data structure, geo is complex data structure, and then address is also a complex data structure. That hence it is the reason it is showing object. So what I will do, I will only show the some basic information of that user, and then based on that click of a particular user information, I wanted to show the address information, for example. Click here and then go to the code view. So I will remove unnecessary field here. From here I'll say I remove geo lat long address object, and then address street, also address suite, zip code, address zip code, and then data address, and then company details, also company catchphrase, and then company name, and then only. Okay, till company. Okay, just remove it. Here I have just taken some fields. Now go to the designer, and here you see the ID, email, name, phone, username, and the website. Now if you preview your application, now you will see only some sort of detail of a particular user. Okay, now what I wanted to open a dialog box based on a selection of a particular user details, so that I can show some extra information. Go to the visual builder, and here go to the variables. I will create a variable from my endpoint type, from endpoint, and here service connection service user, I will use this user ID because it will hold the single user information. And then next, here I will say all the information I can take, and it will be get user type. Okay, I can take every information and then finish. Okay, here you see get user type has been created, and then click on a variable. I will create a variable get user var, and it will be of my get user type, and then create. Okay, now I have created one type with my endpoint, and I have created a variable with that endpoint type. Go to the designer section, and here what I am going to do, let it be loaded. Okay, so just select this list view. First of all, you have to use the selection mode as a single. Okay, now here what I am going to do, I am going to drop a dialog box. Just use the dialog box. Now here, just go to the page structure. Here is a dialog box. Better to go into the code section. Okay, now just expand. Now here under this div section, okay, I am going to put one form layout. And then I am going to put some input text to show user address information. What I'm saying is input text. So what all information I wanted to show? I want to show street, suite, city, and then zip code. So I will put 4 input text, second input text, third input text, and then fourth input text. Okay, I will change the label. Here I will say city, city, street, suite, street, suite, and then zip code. Okay, and then I will bind all these input tags with my variable. Sorry, click on a code again, and then use this city, select the city, go to the data, and here you have created this get user variable, and here you select this address and then city. Same ways, bind with my street variable under the address, street, suite, suite, and then finally zip code. Okay, and I will make all these as a required, sorry, read only. Like this, read only, read only, read only, and then again read only. Okay, now, okay, now I want it to open my dialog box. So for this, what I will do, I will create a JavaScript function in the similar fashion as I did in my previous video. Dot prototype prototype dot open equals to function event, and then document dot get element by id, and then I will take the id of my dialog box. This is the id of my dialog box. Okay, then go to this JavaScript section and then just paste it over here. Now go to the designer section, and here just go to the designer section and use this list view. Okay, and then register one event, and then use this first selected icon. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this assign variable, and this assign variable use this assign, and here you see whenever you use this first selected event, the raw data will hold the particular raw data, and then just drag to this get user variable. Okay, and then save. Here I will use call module function, and here I will select my open function and then select. On my dialog box, I have one button. I will say it is a, so I don't require it. I can remove it. The whole default. Now your configuration is completed. So what I have done, I have created a service connection with my two services, and then I have created a web application, and on the web application page, I have dropped a list view component and bind this list component with my service connection endpoint, which will give all the users. And then I have created a variable from my endpoint with the ID endpoint, and then it created a variable over here. Okay. Now, after this, I have dropped a dialog box on this particular page and created 4 input box and bind all these input box with my variable which I have created as a custom, and then made a event over here, and based on that event I will open the dialog box and will show that data. Just try to run your application. Okay, now just see. Okay, so the pop-up is not getting opened. So let me just go see and see what is the error. Here in this actually function there is some mistake. I have not used this open function. Okay, and then try to run again. Okay, now just select any one of the row. Here you see the data has been populated on the list, and then just select. Here you see the city, street, and then zip code of a corresponding user. Select another. Okay, suite 879. You say suite 847. The different information. Apartment 692, and then this is the zip code. So this is how you can call external REST API in a Visual Builder. So guys, that's all for this particular video. Thanks. Bye bye.